Hi and welcome back to this, the second part of the review of the Crosstour 4K Action Cam. I'm going to jump right in with the only negative thing that I found in my use of this camera over the past several days. And it may be just my particular unit, and it may be just a manufacturing defect. I haven't seen anything written or complaints about it on anybody else's reviews. The actual problem is the cradle. Now the camera, if I just take this bit of tape off it, doesn't fit in the cradle very well. In fact, when you put it in the cradle, what happens is it's too tight and it pushes up a little latch there which is supposed to clip down onto it. I did try thinning it out with a Dremel to try and make it fit a bit better, but that didn't work. So what I've done is just put a little bit of double-sided sticky tape in there, and then it fits in and it sticks in and it doesn't come out. So not a major problem, just a little minor hindrance really. As I said, it's probably just a defect with this particular cradle I've had. I haven't seen anybody else complain about it, and I think I have got a way of finding another cradle for this anyway. So back to the camera then. Well, I'm pleased to say that almost everything I'm going to say in this review is positive, apart from that first little bit. And we'll have a little walk around the camera and show you its functions, and then I'm going to show you some footage I took with the camera itself, various different types of footage, and also in the description below I'll link to 4K and Quad HD actual footage as well. A bit difficult for me to upload full 4K videos, it takes a long time to process them, so instead of doing that I'm just putting the raw footage that I took in 4K and Quad HD onto separate videos, and then you can just look at those and compare the various qualities of the video. Gotta say, the quality I found is extremely good, far surpasses what I was expecting. This is a really good little camera. The only other slight minus point with it really is it has everything except a microphone in. Now when it's in the waterproof casing, of course you can't use that anyway, but when it's out in this cradle it would be nice to have a little microphone in, so you could plug in maybe a little radio mic into it, or just a standard lavalier or other type of microphone into it. That said, the microphone on this far surpasses my expectations again. Just as the camera did, so did the microphone, as you'll see in the footage that we're going to look at later. First of all, then we look at the on-off switch, which is just here. And it also acts as the back switch. So you switch it on, it immediately goes into video mode. To change that, you press the on-off switch again, which is also the mode switch and the back switch. You can change to camera, multiple shot camera, and that's time shot camera, and then finally into the settings. The settings menu is very simple but really nice. I like this settings menu. It's very well laid out. It doesn't have lots of things that you don't really need. Very simple, very concise. Video resolution, then you just press the OK button and you go into the various resolution. You can go all the way up to 4K at 25 FPS, 2K at 30, 1080p at 60, 1080p at 30, and so on all the way down. Though I doubt very much you'd be using the lower resolutions really. 720p might come in handy if you want to do some slow motion work. You can really slow down because you've got 120 FPS there, so you can slow it down to a quarter of the speed and you'd still have really good resolution. Now to get out of this menu, you can either go all the way to the top, or you can just press the mode button again and it takes you back to the main menu. Next you've got looping video. If you want to use it as a car cam, you can put it into looping video and it'll loop for however many seconds that you want it to loop for. Timestamp, well of course if you want a timestamp on it, if you want to record particular events such as using it as a dash cam in your car, so you got the right time and date for when something happened, you'd switch the timestamp on. Exposure, again I don't use this, but it could come in handy if you've got a very bright day, might be a bit overexposed, or if it's a bit dusky and dark, then maybe you want to increase the exposure to get a little bit more light into the camera. Photo resolution, so you can again change the resolution of the photographs you take in, so you can take more. And then you got burst photo mode, time-lapse mode, And then next one you've got is continuous lapse mode. Power frequency. Now this is a useful one to know about, because if you're in the UK you need to set to 50 normally, 50 Hertz if you're going to display your videos on a normal UK television. But as I'm filming for YouTube, I've been using 60 Hertz because most of the world uses 60 Hertz, and the biggest part of the people who view my channel come from America, who also use 60 Hertz. You can also switch it into auto mode, of course. So back again. By the way, I'm going up and down the menu just by using the buttons on the side here. You got your language settings, your date and time setting, and you can set it again to have the date format in whatever particular form your country uses. Then you've got your sounds, and if I just go into that a moment, so you've got your shutter sounds, startup sounds, beep sounds, volume sounds, so you can turn anything off that annoys you really. Next round from that, we got upside down mode. So if you want to film upside down for some reason, like that, perhaps you've got the waterproof case on, you're putting it down into the water to see something that's under the water, you turn it upside down so you could film upside down. With this case, the cradle, of course, you can just put the mount into the top of it. Your screensaver, how long the screen stays on. Good idea, because if the screen is on all the time, of course it's going to use a lot more of the battery up and it'll run out much quicker. This actually turns the screen off after a minute. You can adjust it to what you want. Power save the same. If the camera's left on, you're not using it, it'll turn it off. Format is for formatting the SD card. And then you've got complete reset and software version. And this one has the V5102. I haven't checked yet to see if there's a newer update to that, but that's the software version I'm using. Now if we come out of here, back into the main camera, the side here has the USB and micro HDMI out, and then on this side of course you've got the two control buttons for up and down on the menu, but these also activate other services on the camera. So if you press the down button, you switch the Wi-Fi on, and then you can use it together with the app on Android or iOS to view the content that the screen is seeing. Of course the screen will be off, you'll be saving battery, but you'll still be able to see what you're filming via your phone and control the camera. Press it again, turns the Wi-Fi off, and then finally the top button here, you press that and press down, and you go then by hitting OK into playback mode. To go back out, you press again the mode button, go back up, and you go back into standard mode. So that's the main controls of the camera. Next we're going to look at the footage that I've taken, and then I'll just give you a quick final roundup of how I think the camera's performed. So here we are on top of a mountain on an extremely cold day in South Wales, and this is just a quick test of the camera itself and the microphone built into the camera. Now it's recording at 4K at the moment in 24 frames per second, which is cinematic quality. And for movement, you may find that there's a bit of blurriness as you move about. As you can see, the views up here are tremendous even on a rotten day like today. Now if you wanted better quality when you're actually moving, if you wanted to use it on a bike or in a car or some other movement, perhaps on a quad or even on a quadcopter, you might want to reduce it down from 4K to Quad HD or even normal HD. So let's have a look at that now. Okay, so this is the second test. This is in Quad HD, so it's still higher than normal HD, and this should reduce the blurring during movement. My ears are absolutely bitterly cold. The wind up here is blowing through the trees here, scant few trees as there are. The farm's out dealing with his sheep. Let's go up a bit higher here. So that's the quad HD. I'm going to try now to take it down into normal HD. So now we're in standard HD. I take a little walk down to the field here with the sheep are. There's one having a good look at us there. So this is my view from work. Can't be bad, I suppose. Not a lot to complain about there. And hopefully you'll see that even with fast movement, if I do a fast pan here, there's a lot less motion blur. So I thought I'd give you some idea of how this camera fares for vlogging use and how good the microphone is under that situation. So I've got the camera quite close to me now, and I'll move it away slowly, try and I'll just adjust it a little bit so it keeps pointing in the right direction. It's probably about 2.5 feet away from me now. And, I think the microphone still picks up quite well at this distance. As I move further away, it's now about a metre and a half. And, I think you can still hear me quite well. And if I put it up to the maximum, I'll have to just adjust the camera one more time. And now this is quite a distance away. Perhaps if you were using a drone or something, you'd have it like this. And you can see I've actually moved location now, and the clouds have broken and the sun has come out, so you can see a little bit more of my location. So yes, it's really good for this type of use. And even at this distance, I think you can still probably hear me reasonably well. So I'll give you a quick sweep around. I hope you found that footage useful in seeing just how good the quality of this Crosstour camera is. I find it an excellent little camera, very easy to use. The 4K quality is really good, even in 25 frames per second, but as I said earlier, that's actually cinema quality. It's what you'd see if you went to watch a film in a cinema. The Quad HD is excellent. The 1080p is very passable, very, very good. Not as good, of course, as a full DSLR or a dedicated video camera, but for an action camera, I think it's excellent. For the price, I think it's incredible. And when you add in all these extras, the only extra that doesn't come with it, remember, is this handle here. That is another £10 on top. I can't really fault it. It is really, really good. It's an excellent buy. The little problem I had with the cradle there, well, I'm sure I'm going to be able to sort that out. And at the end of the day, if you had that problem, you could just take it back to the shop and swap it for another one. Unfortunately, the way I purchase things, I tend to be 3 or 4 months before I open the packet and film it for review. But I hope you've enjoyed this review of the Crosstour 4K Action Cam. There are more to come, and I think the next one is going to surprise you because it really doesn't match up to the quality of this one, but it looks very similar. For now though, thank you for watching.